Hey there, my name is Alex. I am the Silver Mont, and this is my review of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker patch 6.2, Buried Memory. In this patch we had the continuation of the Pandemonium raid series, new main scenario quests with new trial, the return of rival wings in PvP, the new Island Sanctuary mode, and in the coming weeks and months sub-patches, the start of Hildebrand Relic quests, Criterion dungeons, and other features. So how about the titular part of the patch? The new raid series. Well, the first 4 fights in Pandemonium were a little lacking in my opinion. The first 3 in particular just being forgettable. The story didn't draw me in too much either. The second series is an improvement in all areas in my opinion. The story got a little more engaging, the fights were more creative and memorable, and the gear is very interesting. Having glowing weapons for the Savage version is sure to draw in some people who wouldn't otherwise even try and bother with Savage raiding. As for the main scenario quest, we had a little trip into the void and met some new-ish characters, but of course it's hard to go much into that without spoilers. I'll just say that I enjoyed it, but it was nothing too fantastic. We'll have to see where this is all heading and what it's going to culminate with. There are certain characters I'd like to see involved who aren't yet, perhaps they will be in the future, but again these are characters who are tied behind some sort of, well, not side content, but more like leveling up a lot of different jobs content. As for Island Sanctuary, this is a new sort of solo content primarily. You have a large island space you can develop, gathering materials, capturing animals, releasing minions to roam free, and so on. Whilst this type of content isn't all that appealing to me personally, it seems to be getting a great reception from, well, people who are into that sort of thing. I'll be doing it for the rewards brought from the island currency, and probably not much beyond that, but who knows, maybe it will hook me in. It's good to have content for all sorts of players though, from the casual with this, to the hardcore with Savage raids, solo, multiplayer, and everything in between. Speaking of all sorts of players and game types, PvP Season 2, Series 2? Whatever. Crystal Conflict enters its 3rd season, and I've not really touched it since the 1st season. I got to, Crystal, or whatever the maximum rank is, and I was like, I never need to do that again. I don't hate the mode, but it's a good way to get very frustrated very quickly from my experience with it. Rival Wings, which I actually do enjoy quite a lot, returns at last, even if the game mode is still pretty much dead. I was trying it the whole pretty much day after it came back and just there were no matches. PvP in general still needs a lot of work. For starters, Frontline has been abysmal thanks to the Paladin cover exploit. Whether or not it's an exploit depends on how you define things, but I'm considering it one, because it completely reshapes the structure and flow of matches, considering there's 2 or 3 abilities that can disrupt it. It is really bad. The fact that it's gone untouched for months shows just how little attention they pay to Frontlines. Why even bringing Rival Wings back when the mode is dead and they've done nothing to incentivize people to go into it? I mean, the developers must have statistics for how many Rival Wings matches go on in a day. Outside of certain events, like the Tombstone events where people just spam Rival Wings because it's the most efficient way to get the Tombstones, or the Mogtones or whatever, Rival Wings usually has queues that last for hours. Here's a suggestion: why not alternate the PvP roulette in Duty Finder, so that you have Frontline one day, then Rival Wings, then back to Frontlines, and so on. Alternate them. In general, PvP balance has somewhat improved though, but yeah, there's still some dire issues. Samurai's limit break, for example, is ridiculous in Frontlines. Yes, you can not hit Samurai, or stun them after they bring up their buff, but it's very poor game design for such a large player activity. There's not really much skill involved with it, and it just enables too many plays for the Samurai. If I'm running away from someone, I can guarantee my safety by popping that buff. Even if I don't have the limit break, there's a good chance they won't hit me. If I do have the limit break, well, they hit me and then they die. So what is the play there for them? They have to just watch me run away? It's silly, and in group, when you go to a node or an objective, there's a very good chance you'll be killed by a samurai just because you used AoE, which is what you're meant to do on these sort of objectives. You're meant to use AoEs to like hit multiple people, but then you happen to hit a samurai who happened to have his buff up, and now you're dead, and probably 2 other people as well. It's very stupid. It's fine for Crystal Conflict because, you know, that's like, what, 5v5? It's a lot easier to keep track of things, but yeah, it needs adjustment for how it works in Frontline. There's just too many ways to abuse it, and it's not fun at all to be on the receiving end of it. And in general, the PvP is currently in a sort of crowd control meta, a stunlock meta, which is not fun, and it's never been fun in any game with PvP. Here's a top tip if you're making a PvP game. Now, this goes for pretty much any sort of video game imaginable, as well as real life. People don't like being stuck and not able to do anything. If you put that in PvP, it's especially obnoxious. No one likes to be stunned and have control taken away in PvP. Stuns should be kept to an absolute minimum. How you can even make a PvP mode and have as many stuns as we have in Frontline makes me wonder if the developers have played any PvP game, like, ever. Now, I'll admit, it's not quite as bad as Stasis when that came out in Destiny 2, because Destiny 2 and the developers of Destiny have had many years experience of making PvP shooters, and then they suddenly decided, what if we put in a new ability to freeze people? Yeah, that will be really fun and balanced, and everyone will enjoy that. They didn't enjoy it. But PvP rants aside, looking ahead, we have the Relic questline starting in the near future, which, well, as passionate as I am about those PvP issues, there are people who feel the same way about the Hildebrand relics. They think Hildebrand's stupid, they don't want to do it, they don't want goofy choke weapons, and they don't want to have to do these stupid quests to get to the relic weapons, and, well, you can skip the quests. I mean, like, you can literally skip through them if you don't care about them, so, you know, there's that. I get that not everyone has the same sense of humour, after all. And, personally, I think it makes sense that Hildebrand is tied in with the relic quest. I mean, we have the world's best smith and the world's best goldsmith. I do hope the weapons aren't all joke weapons, though. I mean, it's fine if maybe one stage of them is like a joke weapon, but yeah, I hope they are more, you know, serious, like, cool-looking weapons. But in general, I enjoy the Hildebrand content, although I get it's not for everyone. As for the Criterion dungeons, well, despite having read up on them a little, I really have no idea how they're going to play until they release. But if they're worth doing, then, well, I'm sure I'll do them. And in general, it is nice to have more small party content. To bring up Destiny once again, much like you have dungeons and raids in Destiny, where dungeons are basically 3-man raids, and normal raids are 6-person, I like the idea of having more involved small party content like this, and I hope it's good. All in all, it's a decent patch, but if you're wondering if you should resub, like maybe you took a break after Endwalker or something, I don't think this is the patch, to be honest. Unless you're really keen to start on the Island Sanctuary, like that really looks appealing to you, or the relic weapons. To be honest, I think you're probably better off waiting for the next patch, seeing how that one is. As whilst this one was fine, it's a little bit fillery, not packed with must-have content, in my opinion. Of course, obviously, ignore that if you're like a hardcore raider, but that about does it though. Thanks so much for watching, catch you next time.